So good morning to all of you.
Morning, sir.
Okay, good morning. Yeah, let us begin with here today's class. So in the previous class, what we have discussed is we have discussed something on logical address, and we have something discussed on physical address. Okay, this logical address is generated by whom, you know? Who is going to generate the logical address? So we're discussing the concept of paging. So this is an important concept for the operating system while managing the memory. Okay, yeah. So the logical address is generated by the CPU, and in physical address is generated by the hardware. Corresponding hardware will generate this. Okay, so we need to map the logical address with physical address and physical address back to logical address. Okay, whenever we have a CPU, let us say this is CPU. So this CPU will generate the logical address, and we have something called as memory management unit. So this corresponding memory management unit will point out to the secondary memory. So this is your secondary memory, where here this will be your physical address. So this LA is your logical address and PA is your physical address. So this memory management unit has to map it to the physical address. Okay. While doing this process here, while converting that logical address to physical address, okay, we have two options. First option, we use paging. Okay. Second option we use segmentation. Is it clear? While managing the memory, in order to convert from logical address to physical address, either we use the technique of paging and we use the technique of segmentation. So these two are a part of memory management unit. Is it clear? So usually what we use by hardware is your physical address. What we use by whatever the hardware is using, right? So that's your physical address. Okay, but in spite of that, the physical address, we cannot able to view this physical address. We cannot view. We cannot view this. We cannot know what is happening here, what it is. So CPU does not know where the physical address actually it is. Okay, so that's why it's going to generate logical address. Now, so let us move into the concepts of paging concepts, right? So let us see clearly what this paging is. Like when you see something, whenever you are trying to buy a new notebook, whenever you are trying to buy a new notebook, whatever you ask, what you'll ask 100 pages or 200 pages or 50 pages, you'll ask, correct? So these many number of pages you'll ask. So this also is similar concept, paging. So page, it means what? Page, which means a constant frame. Okay, this is a page. Like this we have n number of pages. Correct? Whenever you want to point out something here, this is the ninth line, you want to point out something in this, you wrote something in this memory. If you want to point out here, usually if you are having a common memory like this is called as contiguous memory. If you have like this, what we'll do, let us say this 9 into 4, let us say 36th memory, it is going to be this place is going to be this is what we have. Now in this case, when you are trying to point out here, we need to point out in two formats. One, so this should have the page number, okay, and this should have the offset number. So let us say page number 4, offset number 9. So page number 4, this is going to map to this corresponding page, and this offset number 9 will map to this. Is that clear? So this is your page 1, or let us say page 1. page 2, page 3, and this is page 4. So this way we can able to do this paging. You got an idea what paging concept it is, what it does? Hello? Now let us see the concepts here, what exactly this paging is and why it is and what the yeah. Okay. So let us see here paging. What does this paging mean? So paging in a memory, what it will do is memory management scheme. The paging will eliminate the need for contiguous allocation. So this paging will, what it will do, it will eliminate the use of contiguous memory. Okay. Along with that, this will provide the physical address space of the process to non-contiguous memory, and it will provide the physical address. It will provide the physical address for what? Provide physical address for non-contiguous memory. So this is what it will do. Okay. And now here we need to understand an example here. If let us say we have logical address. Okay, I'll come back to this. So let us see this example. You'll try to understand something here. Say for example, we have logical address. We have a logical address. So this logical address is of 31 bit. This logical address is of 31 bit. Then we have logical address space. What we are going to get with it is going to be equals to 2 power 31. 2 power 31. So what is that? What we know that here 1 GB equals to what? 1 GB equals to 2 power 30. Now what about this 2 power 31? What will happen? 2 power 1 into 2 power 30. Right? This 2 power 1, it is 2. This 2 power 30 is what? GB. 2 power 30 equals to 1 GB, right? So 1 into 2, it is 2 GB. So which means if you have 31 bits of logical address, we have a space up to 2 GB. Correct? Same thing if we are trying to view in a different format, different way, we'll try to see that. If let us say we have, we'll talk in a different way. Okay, we have the logical address. We have the logical address which have 128 MB. If you have a logical address of 128 MB, then what is this 128 MB? So what is 1 MB actually? What is 1 MB? How we got 2 power 31 GB? You see 2 power, 2 power 1 is 2, 2 square 4, 2 cube 8, 2 power 4 16, 2 power 5 32, 2 power 6 64, 2 power 7 how much? 128, 2 power 8 is what? 256, 2 power 9 512, 2 power 10 is 1024, which is also equals to 1 KB. Correct? And 2 power 11 is how much? Like that you convert it. See, 1024 KB into 1024 KB. So which means this is 2 power 10. It is 2 power 10. So this will lead to 1 MB. Correct? Which is 2 power 20. So finally we can understand here 2 power 10 is 1 KB. 2 power 20 is 1 MB. 2 power 30 is what? 1 GB. So now it is 2 power 128, it is 128 MB. So 128 is how much? 128 is how much? 2 power 7. So it is 2 power 7 into MB. MB is what? 2 power 20. We can check that it is 2 power 27 on total. Okay. So what does it mean? What does it make difference? So if you want to find out number of bits required for it, just you do what you do is you apply the logarithm for it. Log 2 to the base 2 power 27. If you apply that, you're going to get 27 bits because this log 2 to the base 2 is 1. So this 27 will go forward. So it is like 27 into log 2 to the base 2. So this value is 1. So this 27 we're going to get. So which means indirectly whatever number we have here is that many number of bits we require. You got an idea? Now when you have a number of bits here, see this very carefully, observe here. When you have a number of bits as 31, you should be able to figure out the memory. By using the number of bits, you should tell the memory. And also by using the memory what you have, you should be able to tell the number of bits required, vice versa. So you have the memory here and you should tell the number of bits required, vice versa. This thing you should know. Now tell me, for logical address we did, right? Now physical address, let us say we have a physical address. So physical address, we have 22 bits. Now tell me what is the memory required for this. Similarly, physical address will require of 16 MB. Now tell me what is the number of bits required. Can you say this? These two blanks, can you fill it? 22 bits we have, which is 2 power 22, which is 2 power 2 into 2 power 20. Why? Because this 2 power 20, we know it is 1 MB. Correct? 2 power 2 is what? 4, and into 1 MB, which is 4 MB of space we need. Is that clear? And here what about 16 MB? 16 MB means what? How to write this 16 MB? We know that 1 MB equals to, this 1 MB equals to 2 power 20. What about this 16? 2 power how much? 2 power 4, which will give you 2 power 20 plus 4 we have, it is 2 power 24. So which means we need 24 bits. If you have 22 bits, we'll get 4 MB. If you have 24 bits, we'll get 16 MB. Okay? Is this clear? Yeah, so let us go into the concepts now. Now this paging part, it is done. Yeah, now you see here, if you observe this carefully, what will happen in paging, let us try to understand. Okay, this memory what we have, it is going to be divided into areas called page frames. Divided into areas called as page frames. If you look at this one, there is one page frame. If you look at this one, there is one separate page frame. Look at this. Now try to understand here. So this is your memory. At this memory, we have locations starting with 0 and ending up with 9, which means there are total of 10 locations, out of which this 4th location is completely free. So that's why free frames list 4 we have. Any doubts in this? Free frames list we have 4. After that, you see this one, this 0 is given for R node. The 0 is given for R node. So R node is where? Here. R frame. This frame is for R. This frame is for P. Now you see this one here, location is 0. We are given for R0 frame. Next, this is completed. Next one, R1 frame. This one, R1 frame is given for 2. R1 frame is given for 2. R2 frame is given for what? 5. So we wrote 5. Okay, now what are left out? P frame is left out. Where is the P frame? So if you look at this P frame here, you can able to see the P frame here. So P0 is given for frame 1. P1 is given for frame 3. P3 is given for frame 6 actually, P3. But P2 we missed out somewhere. Where is P2? Yeah, P2 is given for frame 9. So P2 we wrote 9, that's why. There is no rule that it has to be continuous. Wherever we have memory, we can allocate that. Okay. And 7th memory P4 it is. And next 8th memory we have P5. So that's how we wrote it. Is the diagram clear to you all? Any doubts in this paging? So it's very simple concept. What we try to do is whatever memory we have, let us say you have around 16 MB of space, or let us say much more simple, we make it, I have 4 KB of space. Okay, what we are going to do is, let us say one page one page is of 1 KB. So this is going to be decided by the computing operating system, how much the page size is going to be. So I'll divide this 4 KB into 4 pages. So this one is page 0. Okay, this one is page 1, page 2 and page 3. Like this I'll divide. If you have 16 KB space, let us say for example 16 KB space, you have different options again here. You can divide this into 16 frames, or you can divide into 8 frames or 4 frames. If the page size is of let us say 4 KB. If it is 4 KB, then we have 4 divisions, 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. If this page size is going to be 2 KB, if it is 2 KB, then we have one more division here, one more division here, one more division here, one more here. If it is of only 1 KB, then further we can divide this. Are you able to understand this one? It depends on the complete page number, page KB, how much we divide. So this is decided by the corresponding operating system. So that's how the memory is going to get divided into pages. Okay. Any doubts so far? Any one of you? Is that clear to you all? So next, moving on. So when you are trying to use paging, let us say there are two things here to understand. So one is, so this can be your logical address. Okay. And other side of the page, we have something called as physical address. Okay. So we'll divide this to something. This will tell the corresponding page number, and this will tell the corresponding frame number. So let us try to understand here some concept, what it is. Okay. So when you talk about logical address, so we'll have something called here with P. Let us say we have something called with P. So P indicates what? Number of bits to be represented by the page in the logical address space. So this P indicates the page number. Okay. And we have something called here D. So this D is what? So D is the page offset. Page offset. And when you go to the physical address side, we'll call it as frame F and then offset D. So which means this page is called as, referred to as, page is referred to as frame. This page is referred to as what? Referred to as frame. Okay. So this is going to translate, this can be translated by using what? By using memory mapping unit. The memory mapping unit is going to take care of that. Is it clear? Now same thing they are telling in that in a different format here. Let us say S is the size of the page. Whatever S we have, that is your size of the page. And L we have here LI. So that is indicating the logical address. So L indicates the length. Okay, length of the logical address. L is there, logical address. P is there, is physical address. Length of the physical address, which means, so this is complete length. Correct? If I write here, what should I write here? LI I should write or LP I should write? It's physical address. What to write here? Physical address. Hello? What do we write here for physical address? LP or LI? It's physical address, so we write LP, physical address. And what about this length, corresponding length of this? So this we can write as LI, which is for logical address. Okay. So size of the page. The size of the page means what? The page size can be, this page can be of 1 KB. Okay, it can be of 1 KB, it can be of 2 KB, or sometimes it can go up to 1 MB, whatever it is. So this corresponding size is given by S. Okay, so this is given for logical address and this is given for physical address. Now NB. NB is the number of bits used to represent the byte number of logical address. So byte number of logical address. You see here byte number of logical. You see the example here. So this is the sorry, this is the logical address. In the logical address, we are given this length by Li, and NB you see here, NB this one, this NB, this much length, how much says number of bits we use for that, right? It is NB. So this NB. Okay. What about NP? NP is the number of use for this also for logical address only. So that's also for logical address. Okay, and this NB we used here and here same. NB here and here we are trying to use represent same, and but this one NF is the frame size. So because we called here as page, this is called as page. Okay, so we using suffix P, number of bits in the P, but whereas here we are using something called as frame. So we are using N suffix F. So that's how we are trying to use the syntax. Okay, and that's why we wrote here LP, right, for the physical address. So we wrote LP. Okay, so effective physical address is what? NF remains same, NF only, NB remains same, NB only, and LP remains same, LP here same. But only thing what we got is this corresponding thing is being taken from the logical address BI. So BI is replaced here, and this QI what we have here is kept here. Okay, it's just the terminologies to make you familiar. So if whenever we are trying to use P is the page number. For page number we use for logical address. We use for logical address, and then D is same. So D you can use or BI we can use. This BI, here also BI. This is same. Okay. P, if you use here P, it's page number. It's page. If you use frame, it is Q. Okay. So like this it is. So next take an example here. Page size is equals to 4 KB. What is this? So S equals to 4 KB is the meaning of that. Okay. Now 12 bits are used for the number of bytes in a page. So 12 bits we are using. So 4 KB is the size, right? 1 KB equals to 2 power 10. It equals to 1 KB. Now 4 KB, 4 into 2 power 10. What is 4 actually? 2 power 2 into 2 power 10, which is 2 power 12. So we got here 2 power 12. So that's what is your 4 KB. Now 12, what is 12 here? 12 is the adequate number of bits. See this one 12 here. So this 12 can be, it can be given as what? What we wrote previously. Previously we wrote as D, right? So this can be given by D, or we can give it as NB, whatever. So this 12, we can give it as 12. It can be given for NB, or it can be given by D. Okay. Now for memory size of 256 MB. 256 MB means what? 1 MB is 2 power 20. And what about 256? How much is 256? How much 2 power? How much is 256? 2 power 8? How much? We wrote it here, right? 2 power 8 exactly. So this 2 power 8 is 2 power 56. So 2 power 8 into 2 power 20, which will give you 2 power 28. So that's why the length of this is 2 power 28. Is that clear? Now, if page 130 exists in a page frame 48, then PI equals to 130 and QI equals to 48. Where is PI 130 and where is Q 48? Identify that QI and 48. It will be inside this. Okay. And the corresponding BI. You see what is PI, QI and BI. P, Q and B. See this one here? P, Q and B. PI is this logical address P, and Q is here, and B is this one. Okay, when you try to see this here, so PI, okay, physical address PI is this 130 inside this what we have, right? So this one. Okay, and what about QI? QI is this one. So this is given, if you check that, this is given by something called 48. Okay, and where about this one? This is given by BI, which is 600. You can convert 600 to binary and check it. That will be the matching binary value. You can check 48. You can check 48 for reference. See this one, 8421 1632. So 16 plus 32, 48. So it's matching. So 130 also you can cross check it here. 8421, 16, 32, 64, 128. So 128 plus 2. So this is 128 value and this is 2. 128 plus 2 will get 130. Have you understood the example, how the address translation is happening? Yeah, so that's about your concept of paging. And one more drawback is there in paging. What is the drawback in paging? You know what's the drawback in paging? Yeah, I'll tell you what is this drawback in paging. So when you try to take a memory here, okay, now if it is 4 KB, as I told you, if one page size is around 1 KB, it will blindly divide this to 4 blocks. This, okay, each one of 1 KB. Now let us say I am trying to use something. So multiply A and B. I am trying to use this operation. So multiply A, let us say here in the 9th line somewhere in 1 KB, here I got multiply, or else I got a declaration of A equals to 10. I got this here. And in this line I got multiply, which means inputs are in page 1, multiply is in page 2. But when you take multiply operation completely, we require 1 and 2 pages. Page 1 also we want, page 2 also we want. Okay. In that case, what will happen? In that case, what will happen? In that case, what will happen? So this page 1, this page 2. Now when you are trying to do use non-contiguous memory, and when we are trying to use the concept of paging, what is happening? There is one line here located, one line here located. There are different pages. Let us say I am trying to solve one problem in the notebook. This is your notebook. Okay, I am trying to solve one problem. So what happened? The problem last line is not sufficient. I use next page for answer. Okay, here is the input of the problem. Here is the answer is the next page. So, but when the CPU, what it will do, it will take the page by page. It will take this corresponding page completely and transfer to the CPU to execute. Okay, but there is answer is not there in that. Answer is there in this page. So again, immediately the CPU has to take this page then to display the answer, or else there will be an interrupt. So the answer cannot be displayed. Are you able to understand the problem in paging? Whenever we are trying to use the paging, so we cannot able to do that effectively. So what they did, they got an idea. So let us say this is the memory. What, instead of doing into page, I'll do like this. So this page I'll use for main memory. This I'll use for stack. This I'll use for code memory. So this will be the data memory. Okay, this will be, let us say, program memory, which means they are divided into segments. And let us say this is a program part, whatever, which means they made into segments. They made completely into segments. Okay, then it is their compartment, it is their each individual segments they made. Now whenever we want to take, now the segments should be equal. Let's say this is the memory here. All these segments should be equally located like this, equal space we should give. Not necessary. However we want, we can adjust segments. We can, let us say, we can adjust this much for memory, okay, this much for stack, okay, this much for data, and this much only for program. However we want, we can split that. Okay, is it clear? So very simple to make you understand. The paging concept is like dormitory. What will happen? This is a complete hall. The complete hall, what they make, this is your corresponding bed. They'll divide it completely like this. Okay, equally they'll divide. Equal space they'll get, everyone. If friends are there, if they want to use, no, it's not possible. Or if families, they want to stay, it's not possible. They have to stay in a dormitory like this. Whereas in case of segmentation, what you do, you have your own site, you have your own plot. However you want this much kitchen, you can use. You want this much big hall, you can use. Right? You want this much big door, you can allocate. You want big restroom, you want bathroom, you want bedroom, you want whatever you want, you can allocate and you can do it. As per you can segment this. You can put reading room, you can put a puja room, whatever you want, you can do it. Right? So this is like your segmentation, and this is like your paging. Now tell me which one is advantageous. This one is easy to do it. This one is complex, but once you do it, then it will be easy for the CPU. Is it clear to you what is happening here? Anyone? Hello? You're understanding it, what we are discussing? So next is segmentation. See this one here. We are given space for main memory, search memory, update part, database part, stack part. Like this we are trying to give the memory. And you see this one here, main memory, the size is 476. This much only it requires. So a random example they are given like this. So database, this much size it requires, this much address it requires. Search memory, this space, address, space, address, space, address. Okay, so this is how the segmentation is given. And this SI stands for this. SI stands for the size of that. This BI stands for the address of it. Okay, inside this Q, unit Q here, process Q, SI and BI are the IDs of the segment and byte within the segment. So this is SI for segment and this is the B for the byte. Okay, and so the segmentation, we may not use some space of it. That can be fragmented in that. We may not use space in this, it may be fragmented. Okay, so like this we have some space for fragmented part. We will not use it, but some space will be allocated. Okay, so this is how the segmentation part will be done. And we can use something like segmentation with paging. If you use segmentation with paging, so what's the advantage we have? What's the advantage we have? So we'll take the advantage of both. We will do segment. See this one here diagram. They have just made a segment. They are not partitioned here to pages. They have not did that. Now what we are trying to do, we are making segments. After making segments, we are doing into pages, because the problem here is you see this database is too large. Correct? So the CPU cannot able to take that much of data at one shot. At one shot it cannot take it. Okay, it becomes difficult for that. Then the data gets into different partitions to take it, and again it's difficult. So what we do the paging here. We do the paging. Then in main memory, I'll take only this page, I'll carry to the CPU. Immediately next to that, the next page will be scheduled. This one, this next second. Next third page will be scheduled. Next fourth page will be scheduled. Like this, we can complete this main memory in terms of steps. Okay, so that's why we need to fragment this corresponding segments into pages. If we do like that, then we can able to avoid the external fragmentation can be avoided. Okay, so that's the advantage of this segmentation using paging. So what is the summary of this complete session what we discussed? The compiler will assume a specific memory area to be available to a program and generates object module. Okay, fine. And this is about the compiler. What about linker? The linker will do the relocation of the memory and performs linking to connect the program with the library functions. Okay, we can also able to do self-relocating programs and will perform their own relocation. So self-relocating programs we have, they can do by themselves, they can relocate how they want. And finally, what the CPU will do, the CPU has a relocation or register to facilitate relocation. If you want to shift from one location here, let us say you want to move the data to other location somewhere here, so relocation can be possible from here to here, and let us say from here to this location. So it's possible. Okay, so memory allocation can be static memory allocation or direct memory allocation. So both combined also we can use it. We can by using stack and heap. This is summary what we are trying to understand. And further we have what we have non-contiguous allocation. This non-contiguous allocation, what it will do, it will reduce the external fragmentation. So by using the concept of what, by using concept of paging and by using concept of segmentation. Okay, with the help of this memory management unit, it is going to do it. Okay, so that's what your summary for your paging and segmentation concepts. Is that clear to you? Paging, segmentation, and we discussed actually 3 concepts today altogether. First concept what we discussed is paging. And there are some drawbacks in the paging because when you try to do a single memory location, a single entity, we may have that entity into two different partitions. So then we cannot able to do that. So that's why we have made segmentation type. And second one is what? Second one is your segmentation. So I'll tell you one more example, you will understand better. If you use paging, what will happen? Let us say you went to a restaurant. Now it's not possible, okay, fine, but when you have time, you can go to restaurant. Let us say you went to restaurant. The restaurant, each table will have only 4 chairs. 1, 2, 3, 4 chairs. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, 4 chairs. Only 4 chairs are available here, and only 4 chairs are available. But you have 8 friends. 8 friends you went to the restaurant. Then what usually they'll do? They'll join the tables. Correct? So 2 people can sit here, 2 people can sit here, 2 can sit here, 2 can sit here. This means all together you have fun and you enjoy the food. Correct? So this is your paging concept. Whatever you do, I will not allocate, I cannot do it. This separate page, this separate page. Then what's the fun you have? You're having food together in a restaurant. You having separate 4 people are having separate. Okay, that is difficult, right? Whereas there is other restaurant where what they did is they made something like option like this. They have separate partitions still, but they made this as separate entity. They reduced the space here. They combined both of them. That became a single table, right? You understood the concept of this is your segmentation. They have, let us say, a separate party hall. You can have and you can enjoy your own food. Okay, like that they have their own entities. Okay, so this is your segmentation and this is your paging. Is that clear what is happening here? Any doubt in this? Paging, segmentation, and again in segmentation also we can do paging. In segmentation also we can do paging. Let us say you have given a space for party hall here. They are given a party hall space. Yeah, we don't want to mix up with separate people. We have a party hall space. This is your complete party hall space separated. Again, they cannot give, right? They cannot give separately. They can again make the pages. You can use this compartment, this, whichever way where you want. There you can use the compartments. Okay, so that's the concept of that. So this is better. Paging, segmentation with paging is the best part to use in your corresponding operating system. So in the next class, what we'll do is we'll use virtual memory basics concepts. So next concept is what? Virtual memory management. We call it as VM, which indicates virtual memory. We are going to see virtual memory management. So this we are going to do in the next class. Let us see now the basics of the virtual memory concept. Okay, what is this virtual memory? How it is defined? Virtual memory, a memory hierarchy consisting of computer system's memory and a disk that enables a process to operate with only some portions of its address space in memory. So I'll tell you what it is, virtual memory. Okay, let us try to understand this concept of virtual memory. How many of you play online, let us say games you play? Everyone you play game? Which games you play on computer? Or which game you play on mobile phone? Any game, can you tell me? You do gaming, right? Hello? Hello? You all can hear me? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let us say, yeah, fine. So this is your, yeah, this I'll tell you an example of why virtual memory is required. Okay, so this is your complete RAM, let us say. Okay, and this is your ROM. Usually ROM is bigger than RAM, so don't mind. So I have just drawn a rough sketch. Now what happens here is whenever you are trying to play high-end gaming, high-end computing you are trying to do, or let us say we call it gaming we do. So what will happen is the mobile or the laptop will get hanged up, it will get struck. Have you experienced your mobile getting hanged up or struck? It's because of improper management of virtual memory. Okay, so what this virtual memory, what it will do here, virtual memory here is, it's very simple. Now whatever we are trying to do, all the things are getting stored in the RAM. Even I click on right click, left click, everything what I do temporarily, it will be stored in the RAM. So which means RAM is like literally full, storing all the data which is temporary data, what it is stored. Now on top of it, you started a new gaming. All see, browser is on, Teams is on, Whitepad is on, and all gamings, everything is on. All the things are on. Now here all the process P1, P2, P3, P4, everything is filled up. Now what you did, you started a gaming, new game you started. Now there is no space here for the RAM. Now there is literally no space here for the RAM. So now what this system or operating systems we should do is, you have two options. One is physically you extend one more RAM, like some more thing, and you do it. That's what they'll tell you, right? You extend the RAM and it will work. But operating system, what it will do is, if you have VM management techniques, operating system, what it will do is, RAM is around, let us say, this around 4 GB of RAM you have, let us say. Hard disk is, let us say, 1 terabyte. In this 1 terabyte, some space would be free, which is not used at all. So what this RAM or this VM will do, you know, in this RAM, there is some portion which is unused. So this portion I'll use like RAM temporarily. You know this concept, they'll use the RAM temporarily. Now out of this processes, P3 is not used frequently. I'll put it in this space. P2 is not used frequently. I'll put it in this. So I get the space here. Now I can do the computing of gaming. Is that clear? There is something P7 which is not used frequently. Dump it into the RAM temporarily. So this is your virtual memory. This actually is not ROM. This is not actually your RAM, but it will act temporarily like RAM. So this was there located in ROM. Are you understanding it? Whenever your process is getting heated up or overloaded, whichever process is not used frequently, they have to be loaded back to the main memory. That's why you see anytime whenever your mobile phone is getting hanged, you can do very simple thing. What you can do is you clear the WhatsApp data. The mobile phone will work absolutely fine. If you have too much of over data into the WhatsApp data, you clear that, your mobile phone will work super fast. Why? Because you need to have some free space inside your main memory, which is ROM, such that if the RAM is busy, it can able to virtually use the ROM also. If you want, you try fully loading the RAM, fully loading the memory and check it off. You load some 1 or 2 movies into your mobile phone, right? Make the memory full and try to see the performance of it. You may tell like, sir, my audio is not clear, or my video is not clear, or you're not able to play the games effectively, or you're not able to download fast. All these problems will come. Simple solution is what? Give some free space in the corresponding ROM. So this ROM, whatever free space we have, if the RAM requires, some portion of it can be used like a RAM. So that is called as virtual memory concept. So that's what we are going to discuss. It's an interesting concept. So that's what we are discussing in the next class. Virtual memory basics we'll discuss that. So it's very simple. This virtual memory, why we need here is, again, so we need to convert this corresponding logical address into physical address by using memory allocation unit, okay, and we try to load this physical address inside this some other space. Okay, so we'll see this concepts in the next class. So virtual memory, so probably we'll begin from here. Virtual memory concepts, basics we have gone through them slightly. Now we'll just see the concept of what is this virtual memory using paging. What is this virtual memory and how this is used in paging is what we are going to do. That is called as demand paging. Okay, this one, demand paging, is the concept what we have to discuss in the next class. Is that clear for every one of you? Any doubts so far? Please read today only the concepts of paging and segmentation. Then you will understand something. If you won't see now today, you will forget that. Once you see today, you'll have some memory into your backup. You'll remember that easily. Okay, today please see three concepts: paging, segmentation, segmentation with paging. Those three you please check. And in the next class, you have some idea about virtual memory and come. So we'll see next class demand paging and VM handler. They are very, very simple concepts and easy concepts. Only thing is you need to listen, and then once you need to read, then nothing else required. You can able to explain to anyone, any point of time. You can able to explain in examination, internal, external, wherever it is. Okay. So with that note, anyone have any queries? You please ask me. We can have a discussion about that. Any one of you? You have any doubts, you please ask me, or else you can make a move. Thank you all. See you in the next class. We'll discuss in the next class with virtual demand paging in virtual memory. And we discuss on VM handler. Okay. We discussed on virtual memory handler and demand paging. Okay. Almost we came to the end of the third module. So other 2 to 3 classes will complete this. It's very simple. Okay. Fourth and fifth are still much more easier. Right. Thank you all. You can leave the meeting. You all active now. Quickly leave the meeting in 1 minute. Many people are active. Yeah.